Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. After the holiday, we are here again. I'm going to sing a couple of songs, preparing for our spirit talk. And everybody's welcome. I'm very happy to be here again. So let's start with Love in Action. Oh, Jesus, here I am. My knees on the floor to say thank you, my Lord, for the life that come through this door. Your love is the key to change the entire world. Using these chains wisely, we will live in peace and harmony. Now I understand, helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontier. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in actions. Now I understand, helping others is helping myself. Your words now are so crystal clear. Your teachings have no frontier. To see all these transformations, we just have to put love in action. Good evening for you that's coming now. Welcome to our meeting tonight. Now I'm gonna sing a song to Mother Zephyrina. Source of everybody, warm in a power cold night, support and comfort, support and comfort, cascades flow down the mountain, down the children of earth, with love in their heart, with love in their soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. Oh, my mother's Epherina, harvest of wonderful blessings. Make yours no sun a good creation. Make yours no sun a good creation.
Wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody's alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.
Another day, another flower, another minute past the hour. Someday the sky is blue, and suddenly we can't see through. And every day is a fresh new start, when the sun turns off the moonlight. We get another chance to choose the road we want to cruise, and on the other side of the mountain there's always a whole new road, the new beginning calling after every end. There are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. On the other side of the mountain, there's always a whole new road, and the new beginning calling after every end. And there are a million reasons to pick you up after every fall. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round. It's always a win in the new round.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Then, after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. We would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Concafres Americas through their Facebook and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. East by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. For those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know to Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. New class will be starting on fall. More information will be given soon, so stay tuned. We offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? The Gospel at Home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the Gospel at Home study meetings. by posting in the chat, you can request it. Please let us know. You are welcome to include your or someone else's names on the list of positive vibrations, incarnated or discarnated. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strength, goodwill. Please find the link in our chat. The topic of today's meeting is detachment from earthly possessions, items 11 to 16 from chapter 15. You cannot serve both God and mammon, which will be facilitated by our sister Larissa from London, Ontario. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. And now we invite our tonight's speaker. Welcome, Larissa. Hello. Are you mute?
Sorry. Hi, how are you? Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited to be here tonight with you guys.
We are very happy to have you here. So we ask you to do our opening prayer as well, okay? I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Thank you. So let's start with the opening prayer. I invite everyone to do this prayer with me. So let's close our eyes and calm our hearts. Let's elevate our thoughts to our Master Jesus and the friendly spirits that are here with us tonight. Thank you, Lord, for this opportunity to be here tonight to learn more about Spiritism and how to apply your teachings of love and kindness and charity to our daily lives. May you bless the work that will be done tonight. Bless our families, our friends, and help us to continue this path of light. We ask for your protection, and may you stay with us today and always. So be it. Okay, so let me share my screen here with you. So today, as Marcel said, we are going to have the last part of chapter 16. You cannot serve both God and mammon. And it's items 11 to 15. And we will be learning a little bit the Spirit's instructions and advices about detachment from earthly possessions. So this last chapter, for those who are not familiar with the Gospel according to the Spiritism, usually in the last part of the chapter, we have a section that it's called Spirit's Instructions. So basically, we will have different message from different spirits that brings us advices or instructions, basically, based on the theme of the chapter. Okay? So before we start, I'd like to refer back to this passage from the Gospel, which is the one that named the chapter, right? It's the one that opens this chapter and that we have already studied previously. So this passage says, "No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon." And this is under Luke chapter 16, verse 13. So in this chapter, we've been discussing about spiritual and worldly possessions, focusing more specifically on our relation with money and other material possessions while we are incarnated here on earth. So today, the message from the spirits will cover the following topics: the applications of the riches, so how we should apply our the things that we have here on earth, detachment from worldly possessions, how we can be not attached to the material possessions, and the transmission of wealth. So what the spirits tell us about transmitting our wealth to our sons or anyways, our children, right? Sorry. So we will start with the message from Cheveros from Bordeaux, 1861. And he will start bringing us a little bit of clarity about the application of riches. So he starts the message saying that it's not possible to serve both God and mammon. So what then is the best way to employ the riches? If you look for the answer in the words love one another, you will find the solution. For here lies the secret of the best way to employ riches. So as we already have covered in previous studies, we are immortal spirits that incarnates many lives to progress and evolve. So the material experience that we live here is only temporary. Therefore, everything that we have here, it's temporary as well and needs to be used wisely. So the spirit here comes to say to us that the best way to use our treasures here while we are in this material experience is through the commandment that Jesus left us as teaching. Love one another. So he continues to say that those who love their neighbors already have a line of action delineated for them in these words, because the application which most please God is charity. So charity, he's saying to us, charity is the best application we could have for our riches here while we are incarnated. But when he talks about charity, he's not referring to the cold and selfish charity, which consists on only distributing what we have as superfluous or whatever we have as extra, but rather the charity full of love, which seeks out misfortune and helps raise it without causing humiliation, right? So it's that type of charity where the benefactor connects with the beneficiary. So he continues the message saying that you who are rich, give what you have in excess, but do even more. Give something of what is necessary to you, because what you consider to be necessary is, in fact, also superfluous. But give wisely. Do not reject those who weep, because you may be afraid of being duped, but get to the bottom of the matter. So what a strong statement that everyone should reflect. We usually think that we can't do charity because we don't have enough, or even like said in this message, we ended up giving only what is already superfluous to us. So is everything that we have really essential to us? That's a question that we should be asking. We should reflect more on this. As the Spirit is saying, usually what we consider necessary to us is also superfluous. Now, in order to do charity, the Spirit advises, in the first place, seek to alleviate. Secondly, seek information. And then see if the possibility of work, counseling, or even offering affection would not be more efficient than the mere giving of alms. Diffuse all around you with joy and in plenty your love for God, for work, and for your neighbor. So we need to remember that charity, it's not only giving for the material needs. In fact, the Spirit is saying to us that maybe sometimes another type of charity would be more efficient than just the material one. So we also can be charitable towards our neighbor, listening to them, comforting them with some kind words, showing our care, being present. So this is the moral charity, and it's even more important than the material one. In this spirit, he finalized his message with this advice: place your riches on a secure base, which is that of good works, and you will be guaranteed great profit. The riches of intelligence should serve you just as those of wealth. Therefore, disperse around you the benefits of education and scatter the treasure of your love over your brothers and sisters, and they may bear fruits. So we cannot only share our material riches, but also our riches of intelligence. So the Spirit is saying here that we should be acquiring our treasures and dispersing it in a wisely way, but as a good works. So when he says good works here, he's telling us that charity, whenever we are charitable, whenever we are sharing what we have, either is like a knowledge, it can be just kind words, it can be the material possessions. Either way, those good works will reflect on us, on the eternal spirit, right? So this will make us go into the path of progress. So helping one another is the only way to grow and to evolve. Another message about the application of riches comes from A Protecting Spirit from Krakow, 1861. And he starts the message acknowledging that the brevity of life and how much we end up putting our efforts to achieve material possessions instead of moral improvement. So he says, from the amount of effort we put into our material welfare, it would appear that we were dealing with a question of the utmost importance for humanity, when in reality, it will be found that in the majority of the cases, this same work is nothing other than an attempt to satisfy exaggerated needs and vanities, or is a surrender to excesses. What grief, sorrow, and torments you cause yourselves. So they actually feel sorry for us when they see that we are putting more importance and more efforts in things that are not eternal, such as our just material possessions. And he asks us, do you really believe that the care and effort expended will be taken into consideration when, on the one hand, you are motivated by selfishness, cupidity, and pride, while on the other hand, you neglect your future and the duties which fraternal solidarity imposes on all who reap the advantage which society has to offer? So that's a great question for us to reflect on our own lives. Basically, all the spirits here are saying to us that we put too much effort and importance on things that are temporary, right? And that we all have duties with the fraternal solidarity in order for us to grow and evolve as humankind. So we will not be able to progress in this life if we don't think that everything that we have here, it's temporary, but it needs to be used wisely and towards the good of everyone. We cannot use it only for our own benefit. That's what the spirits are telling us. So he ends his message saying that you have thought only for your physical bodies. For the sake of the body that perishes, you have despised the spirit that will live forever. Can this possibly be the objective for which God granted you life? So most of the times we are not taking that in consideration. We are not thinking about our spirit that is immortal and has the eternal life. We end up only focusing on what is temporary, on our own body, our flesh body, our body, material one, and our own possessions, worldly possessions. So the good news is that spiritists bring us the knowledge that help us to understand that we are not from this world, and that God has not given us life to live only for the earthly possessions. This is not our main objective. We are incarnated to evolve, to help one another, to put into practice all Jesus' teachings, and having him as a role model. So in the last message of this topic comes from Fenelon, from Argel, 1860. And he says, when we are incarnated, we are both administrator and trustees for the property which is placed in our hands by God. It will therefore be indispensable to render a strict amount of the uses it has been put to by virtue of our free will. So he's basically saying to us that everything that comes to our life, materials, possessions, everything that we gain in this material existence is placed on our hands by God. And we are the administrator of all of these things. So we will be accountable for it. That's what he's saying to us. And he continues saying that bad usage consists of it being used exclusively for personal satisfaction. And good usage, on the contrary, is whenever this results in benefit to others. So each person's merit is in the degree of sacrifice they impose upon themselves. So Fenelon is telling us what exactly is seen as a bad usage and a good usage of everything that we have here. Basically, he's saying that whenever we use our possessions and everything that we gain here on earth, just for our own satisfaction, just for our own personal needs, that is considered a bad usage. But whenever we put our riches to work towards the benefit of others, then this is considered by God as a good usage of everything that He's putting in our hands. So he continues saying that beneficence is just one way of employing riches, and it can be used to alleviate misery, appease hunger, and offer shelter and warmth to those who have none. Nevertheless, an equally imperious obligation, which is also very noteworthy, is that of preventing misery. So it's not just using our riches to provide to alleviate misery, but it's also to prevent How can we put into work whatever we have in our hands in order to prevent other people to suffer any misery? So this, above everything else, is the mission of the great fortunes, a mission to be fulfilled through many kinds of work for which it can be used. So he finished his message saying that to all who are able to give, be it much or little, I would say this: give money only when it's necessary, and then, as often as possible, convert it into wages so that the person who receives it is not ashamed. So what's really strong message, right? Give money only when it's necessary. That means that there are many things that we can offer to our neighbors and the person surrounding us, more than just money. Money should be used to alleviate, right? However, sometimes it's not the most important thing. Most people that are in misery or that are experience some kind of struggle in this life, sometimes they just want to be seen by someone. They just want to have someone looking to them with care and being present for them. So this is something to consider whenever we think that, oh, I don't have much money to give, or maybe I don't have material possessions that I could share. However, we have the most important thing. We have our time, right? So we should use wisely and use towards the benefits of others as well. So now we move on to the topic, to the second topic, which is detachment from earthly possessions. In this topic, we will have a message from Lacordaire. It's a spirit that from Constantina, 1863. The message comes from this period. So he starts the message saying that attachment to earthly possessions constitutes one of the strongest obstacles to both moral and spiritual advancement. Through this attachment, all faculties for loving are destroyed, as these are only devoted to material things. So let's be sincere with one another. He asks us, do riches bring unmixed happiness? When your safes are full of money, do you still feel an emptiness in your heart? So he starts the message very strongly, saying to us that earthly possessions, the attachment that we have to earthly possessions, is our major obstacle to evolve morally and spiritually. And he continues saying that whether the fortune has come to you from your family or whether you have earned it by working, there is something you should never forget, which is that everything proceeds from God and everything refers to Him. Nothing belongs to you on this earth, not even your own physical body. Death strips you of it, even as it does of all earthly possessions. So he continues saying what other spirits were already saying to us, is that we are only here temporary, right? And we don't own anything. We are only the trustees and administrators from God. He's just putting in our hands in order for us to administrate well. We will use to our benefit, but we are asked to use to the benefit of everyone surrounding us as well. We should be thinking about this every time. Maybe we get a raise in our job, or we move to a different opportunity. So every time we think that God is blessing us, we should remember that He's putting more opportunities for us to be charitable, more opportunity for us to continue working towards the benefits, not only for ours, but for the ones that are close to us, our community, right? So nothing belongs to us, not even our own body, right? We know that once we discarnate, our spirit is the one that will live forever. But this body, it will remain, right? So he continues saying that you are merely trustees and not the owners, so do not delude yourselves. God has only lent these things to you, and they must be returned. What is more, they have been lent to you under the condition that at least the surplus should go to those who lack what is necessary. So that last phrase, it impacted me a lot when I read that, when I was studying, because everything that is given to us, they are saying that the least thing that we should be doing is giving the surplus towards the ones that are lacking the necessary. So I hope that everyone that is watching and that is studying with us today keep this in mind and reflect on it. What are you doing on your own life that is putting to practice this condition that God lent us, whatever we have in this life? Are we really putting this into practice? Are we really considering looking towards our family, our friends, our community? So he continues with some questions to us, saying, have you ever stopped to think that when you allow yourselves to become immoderately attached to a valuable or perishable object, which is just transitory as yourselves, that one day you will have to account to God for what He has been done with that which came from Him? Have you forgotten that by means of riches you assume a sacred mission of charity here on earth, to be intelligent distributor? So that's what we were talking about, right? Whenever God let's think about those big companies, those big business people that ended up either receiving a great fortune or either working and acquiring a great fortune. The spirits are saying to us that whenever we have all those riches here on earth, we assume a sacred mission of charity, right? So how many people are conscious about this sacred mission? So he continues saying that it is useless to try to delude yourselves while on earth by covering up under the name of virtue what is usually nothing more than selfishness. It is useless to call that which is only greed and cupidity by the name of economy and foresight, or to call that which is only prodigality for your own advantage by the name of generosity. So he gives an example that may illustrate what he's trying to say to us here. So he says, for example, a father that is providing for his family, and he abstains from practice the charity because he wants to accumulate wealth so that his children will not will avoid to know misery, right, in the future. So we could think that this is a good reason, right? Oh, okay, I'm providing for my family. I don't want my children to suffer in the future. And the Spirit says to us that even though this looks like a great motive, we need to think about that whenever we are thinking in this way, we are not giving the children, for example, the opportunity to learn how to be charitable, right? We are also maybe not giving the example of to the children that we should be looking to one another, right? So this is a good reflection if you have kids, if you have a family, to think about that. What are the lessons that you want your children to be repeating? So we should be thinking about that, because whenever we do something, do charity, or whenever we put ourselves in doing beneficence or any kind of good work, we will be the role model for the future generation as well. So he continues saying that detachment from worldly goods consists in appreciating them according to their just value, in knowing how to make use of them for the benefit of others and not exclusively in self-benefit, in not sacrificing all interests in a future life for them, and in being able to lose them without a murmur in case it pleases God to take them away. So that's something to consider. If we want to think about like how attached am I to the worldly possessions that I have, I should think about if God for some reason decides that everything that I have should go away, how am I going to feel? So it says here that we should appreciate things by their value and not putting more importance in things that are temporary, right? And if we lose them, we should do it without murmur. How many of us is actually being able to say that if everything that we have goes away, we will not complain? That's a very strong reflection to bring to you today. So above all else, be submissive and trust God, who having given and taken away, may once again restitute what was taken. Resist desanimation and desperation with all your courage, as these paralyze your strength. So whenever we have struggles in life, maybe we had a great condition in terms of riches, and then now we are struggling. We need to remember that God knows everything, and He knows what's best to us. And as easy as He gives us, He can take it away, and He can also takes away and restitute in a future day, right? So we need to understand and be submissive to the will of God, knowing that He knows what is best for us. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, we don't remember everything that we have done in previous lives, right? So we don't know for sure what proofs and expiations that we need to go through this existence. And in this sense, that's why we should trust that God knows what we need, and He will give us everything that we need, the necessary, the essential. We will not perish. So when God causes you to suffer a blow, never ever forget that alongside the most painful trial, God always places a consolation. Above all, ponder the point that there are possessions infinitely more precious than those be found on earth. And this thought will help you towards detachment. And he has this phrase saying that the less attachment you have for something means the less sensitive you will be to its loss. So that's a good phrase for us in order to reflect how attached are we towards everything that we have. So the Lord orders no one to dispose of what they possess, since this would condemn them to the voluntary pauperism, seeing that those who did this would turn themselves into social encumbrances. To proceed in this manner is to misunderstand the true meaning of detachment from worldly possession. So what the Spirit's saying here is, okay, I want to detach from everything that I have, so I'm just going to give it away, everything, and I'm going to, be in misery just by my own option. So the spirits are saying this is not what detachment from the worldly goods means. And this also would be selfishness, would be considered selfishness, because then without actually needing it, we would be depending on social encumbrances. So God gives riches to those who He considers apt to administer them for the benefit of others. By knowing how to do without them when you don't have them, knowing how to employ them usefully when you receive them, and by knowing how to sacrifice them when it's necessary, you are proceeding according to God's wishes. So basically, what the spirits are saying is that what God wants from us is for us to use wisely whatever He puts in our hands, and for us to not be attached, because it's just temporary, and either by death or by God's taking it away, because we need to sacrifice that. We need to go to that experience. Either way, what the spirits are saying is that we shouldn't be attached to it. So he says that we should know how to be content with only a little. Do not be an unfaithful trustee, he advises us, utilizing it only for the satisfaction of your own pride and sensuality. Do not think you have the right to dispose of a loan as it were a gift, exclusively for your own benefit. If you do not know how to make restitution, then you do not have the right of request, and remember that the person who gives to the poor is settling a debt contracted with God. So that's another strong one, right? So basically, they are saying that whenever we come with this mission, right, this charity mission, we have that condition to use towards our communities, our neighbors. And whenever we give to the poor, whenever we do that, we are settling a debt. It means that we are in debt with God, and that's why He provides us the opportunity to do charity, to do beneficence towards our towards others, right? So the last topic of today is transmission of wealth. And the Spirit Saint Louis from Paris, 1860, he only comes to us with a question and an answer. So he asks us, does the principle according to which incarnated spirits are merely the trustees for the fortune with which God has permitted them to enjoy during this lifetime take away the right to transmit it to their descendants? Let's see what this spirit has to say to us. So he tells us that humankind has a perfect right to transmit to their descendants after their death, because the effect of this right is always subordinate to the will of God, who can, when he deems fit, prevent those descendants from enjoying in what was transferred to them. This is the reason why many apparently solid fortunes collapse. Men's will then is impotent when he desires to maintain his fortune in the hands of his descendants. This, however, does not take away his right to transfer the loan received from God, seeing that God can take it away whenever he judges opportune. So basically what they are saying is that, yes, it's not wrong for a father or a mother to be working towards providing to their children, right? And to, after their death, be able to transmit the wealth to the descendants. However, as we have learned today and we have remembered today, is that everything is based on God's will. So even with the right to transfer the wealth to the descendants, if it's not in God's will, in God's plan for those descendants to enjoy that fortune, they will not, right? Something will happen that this fortune will collapse, will be lost. So that's why it's so important for, especially for families, right, to pass over their descendants the most important treasure, which is the knowledge, right, for the future lives, which is the virtues, the commandments, the Jesus teachings. So this was basically my talk for today, and I want to just finish with a quote from Chico Xavier by the Spirit Emmanuel in the book Money. And he says that you may distribute handfuls of gold that are poured from your bag. However, in doing so, if you forget to add the light of your love in the form of respect and affection before others' wounds, then you will have neglected to include the understanding that will help you reconcile with yourselves. So may we never forget to add the light of our love to any act of beneficence or charity or any type of good work that we'll be performing from now on. And may we be the living example of compassion instead of just words coming to our mouth, right? Just actions without a true meaning of what Jesus taught us, right? Loving one another. So thank you for your time. And I'm here for the questions.
Hi, Larissa. Thank you so much. It was a great, beautiful talk. Thank you so much. So instructive.
A lot of learnings, right? This
Yeah.
was a long talk, but I hope the most strong learnings were passed over to everyone that is listening today.
Yeah. So we have a couple of questions here. I'm gonna put here. We have this question from Publio, and he also has another one, the second one. When I finish reading this, I'm gonna put the other one because it's continuing. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So, based on the Spiritism advice, the most effective charity is the one when we give from our heart or from our bank account. He also asked, or both of them are path to self spiritual development.
That's a great question. Thank you, Publio. So, as the Spirits taught us today, both charities, and we already studied it in previous talks as well, right? So, both charities are important. Not only the material one, but the also, and most important one is the moral one, right?
Mhm.
So both of them are a path for our spiritual development. And
Mhm.
both of them we need to practice. But we learned today that sometimes money is not the most important thing that we could give, right?
Mhm.
So they said to us, give money only when it's necessary. This is really strong, right? So it
Yes.
means that the other types of charity, like the moral charity that we already spoke about, so have be present to someone, active listening, and many other types of just giving your time, right, to volunteer, for example. This makes even more impact in other
Mhm.
people's life than just the money, right?
Yeah, and sometimes we think, oh no, I'm gonna give this money here, so I'm doing my charity, and that's it, right? We just think that the money is enough, and we don't need to be um, open to listen people, right? So to try to understand people, try to help someone,
Mhm.
right?
And sometimes the money, right, like giving alms, could be the start point, right? When
Yeah. It is
because
important,
right,
right?
because
Yeah.
we need to be able to alleviate the miseries from other people, right, that
Mhm,
are
mhm.
struggling.
Yeah.
But we should consider that as an open door for
Mhm.
other types of things that we could do to help the ones that are surrounding us.
Yeah, thank you. And we also have it from Rod of
Okay.
Ottawa. Yeah, we better off putting our energy into accumulating virtues rather than worrying about our material belongings. What virtue should we focus on developing first?
Wow, that's a really
10,000 million questions.
oh yeah. Well, I'm going to say as my point of view, I believe the best virtue that we should be developing would be the charity, right? Being charitable, but also the humility, right? We
Mhm.
know that pride and selfishness are the worst vices that we have. And the antidote for those vices are the charity and humility, right?
Yes,
So I would say that we should start, and charity help us to develop humility as well, right? To be
it's true.
humble. So I think those two would be a excellent start.
Well, thank you so much. Was a great answer too.
Thank you.
A great question for a good answer. Thank you so much, Larissa, for you came here. So and your talk was great. You have a good night, and I love your mug.
Thank you.
It was
Thank
from
you.
our fraternal meeting, right?
Yes, it was this weekend. We were really excited to have everyone. I think in our channel we will be um, um, divulgating, right, like some pictures
Uh-huh.
and videos. So I'm really excited to have my mug here, and I
Mhm.
hope to see everyone in the next fraternal meeting next year
Yeah.
as well.
Our last was in Winnipeg, and soon we're gonna release where is gonna be the next one. But people need to be ready to go right next year. We're
Yes,
gonna have
it was
another fraternal meeting.
amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You as well. Thank you. Okay, so now we will move to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. Pass is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Passes help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with health and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. We will now make a prayer in preparation for the pass, which will be our closing prayer as well. Okay, so I invite everyone to close our eyes if you wish and feel comfortable, and elevate our thought to our Heavenly Father. Thank you, Lord, for this beautiful and instructive talk. We also thank you for the opportunity to be here in order to learn more about your teachings. Please, Master Jesus, help us to put into practice your teachings and examples so that we can become a better person. As we learn on the tonight's talk, may we can help one another because it's the only way to grow. We ask the good spirits to bless us, our family, our friends, the people who are suffering, and especially all the people whose name are on our vibration list. Please bless our week and everything we need to do. May we never forget that you are our guide and model. Master Jesus, thank you for everything you have done for us. And please stay with us today and always. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our Spiritist Center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The pass begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you, and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil, washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the pass. Thank you, God.
Thank you. Sorry, I was mute and I was trying to unmute. So thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Conference Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. And please don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from the Spiritism Canada and the Spiritist group Path of the Light. You have a good night.
to the world.